Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the History and Mystery channel. I'm your host Chronicler, and I want you to like and subscribe. Now that you have done that, I want to delve into the story of a top-secret spy project by the United States Army Air Forces, involving microphones flown on high-altitude balloons, whose primary purpose was long-distance detection of sound waves generated by Soviet atomic bomb tests. In July 1994, after decades of speculation, the truth finally emerged. The Office of the Secretary of the Air Force launched an exhaustive investigation, responding to a request by New Mexico Congressman Steve Schiff to unravel the mystery behind what happened in Roswell, New Mexico in July 1947. For years, rumors swirled about the crash of an extraterrestrial vehicle, a story that captured imaginations and ignited endless debate. But in its 1,000-page report, the Air Force revealed the answer. What was recovered near Roswell wasn't alien spacecraft, it was something far more earthly, a piece of debris from a top-secret spy program called Project Mogul. A balloon designed not to fly weather missions, but to listen for the distant chilling echoes of Soviet nuclear tests. The Air Force admission didn't come easily, and it wasn't the full story. Yet, this was just the beginning of a tale that would peel back layers of secrecy, compartmentalized research and Cold War paranoia. Long before the incident in Roswell, the research division of the New York University's College of Engineering had been working quietly on a classified project for the United States Army Air Forces, beginning on September 30, 1946 and lasting until December 31, 1950. NYU engineers were contracted to work on seemingly innocuous tasks, constant level balloon flights. To the untrained eye, these balloons were simply instruments for studying the upper atmosphere, developing telemetering equipment and testing control systems. The NYU balloon group divided its flight into two categories, research and service. While research flights were publicly reported and well documented, the true secret lay in the service flights. These carried classified equipment, the real purpose known only to a few. They didn't test the wind or weather. They were listening, and what they were listening to was top secret. As the wind proved problematic on the East Coast, the NYU balloon group moved their operations to a remote desert site, Alamogordo Army Airfield, New Mexico. And so it was there that the balloons took to the sky, carrying equipment designed to detect distant explosions. Little did the locals know they wouldn't soon become unwitting participants in a far more mysterious story. The seeds of Project Mogul were planted not in a desert but in the ocean. It was Dr. Maurice Ewing, a Columbia University researcher with a sharp mind and a background in naval science, who first sparked the idea. During World War II, Ewing had studied how sound waves traveled through water, discovering that when placed at the right depth, microphones could detect explosions thousands of miles away. Ewing's work intrigued the Navy, but he wasn't finished. If sound waves could travel through the depths of the ocean, could they not also travel through the upper atmosphere? What if, instead of listening for underwater detonations, the military could detect the deep rumblings of nuclear tests across the vast distance of air? In the fall of 1945, Ewing presented this revolutionary theory to General Carl Spaatz, the Chief of Staff of the US Army Air Forces. A bold idea for a bold new world. The Cold War was dawning and the Soviets were becoming a nuclear threat. Project Mogul was born from this theory, with one mission: to listen for atomic bombs before they could ever hit. The technology behind Project Mogul was as complex as the mission itself. The goal was to create an expendable microphone that could detect the low-frequency rumblings of nuclear explosions, even from across the globe. But this microphone couldn't sit on the ground. It needed to be suspended high above the Earth, capturing the faintest sounds from the upper atmosphere. NYU was contracted to develop constant-level balloons capable of carrying this equipment. Columbia University was tasked with designing the delicate microphones. The result was an intricate system, balloons that could hover at precise altitudes for extended periods of time, sending data back to the ground via telemetering devices. The project was expanded, stretching into areas that had never been fully explored. radio wave propagation, solar physics, meteorology, and more. Resources were poured into the operation. Bombers, transport aircraft, and even 2 ocean-going vessels were devoted to the cause. At its peak, over 100 personnel worked on the project scattered across remote locations in the US and Pacific, each performing a role in this silent Cold War mission. Though Mogul would ultimately not achieve its full operational potential, it laid the groundwork for a host of scientific advances, especially in balloon technology and atmospheric research. In 1947, when civilians and military personnel near Roswell stumbled upon wreckage in the desert, they had no idea what they were looking at. The debris was strange, alien even, but not extraterrestrial. It was from one of the many Mogul balloons that had quietly drifted across the skies. The problem was, the wreckage, though unclassified, was part of a classified project. The military had no intention of letting the world know about their secret mission to detect Soviet nuclear tests. So they spun a tale. On July 8, 1947, a press release announced that the material found near Roswell was nothing more than the remnants of a weather balloon. But the story didn't stop there. Some described the findings strange. Hieroglyphic-like symbols on the tape used in the construction of the balloon. The pinkish-purple markings fueled speculations, adding layers of mystery to the incident. To further deflect attention, military officers displayed unrelated weather balloon equipment to the public, allowing the cover story to take root. And it worked for a while, but whispers of flying discs and alien visitors persisted, skeptics convinced that something more had happened at Roswell pushed back against the official narrative. This was the birth of one of the most famous UFO stories of all time. One that would haunt the public imagination for decades. Though Project Mogul was eventually declassified and explained, the questions surrounding Roswell never really died. Some refused to believe that a secret Cold War mission was the true explanation behind the mysterious crash. And despite all the reports, all the evidence, the hunger for a more otherworldly answer remained. Even when the Air Force released another report in 1997, just before the 50th anniversary of the Roswell incident, trying to definitively close the case. It wasn't enough. No aliens, they said, just dummies from parachute tests. Yet ufologists were unconvinced. The debate continues to this day, and perhaps in some ways that's the way it's meant to be. I want to thank you all for listening. See you in the next one. And remember, history is written in mystery.